Welcome, Facebook friends. I'm Marc David, founder of the Institute for the Psychology of Eating, and I'm here today with Amy Bondar. Welcome, Amy.
Thanks, Mark.
I'm glad we're having this conversation. Let people know. So we're going to be talking about my life as an eating psychology and mind-body nutrition coach. You graduated our training a number of years ago. How long was it?
Yeah, it was about 2010. Yeah, right before my second child was born. Yeah.
Woohoo! So tell me, what was life like for you professionally before the training? What were you up to? What were you doing?
Well, I've always, I was practicing in my private practice, one-on-one with clients and doing lectures. And I always had an interest in eating psychology. I was always fascinated with who we are as eaters and why people struggle with food. So I was using that within my practice, but I was never formally trained. So I would say that primarily most of my work was physical nutrition, really customizing, creating therapeutic nutritional programs for my clients. And then I would delve into the mind as well, like looking at resolving some of the unresolved conflicts and stresses that people may have that could be contributing to their weight and eating challenges. But again, without any real formal training, I was just sort of flying by the seat of my pants, very, very intuitive work. And so that's really why I sought your work out, because it was the first thing I had ever really seen that stepped away from physical nutrition and really focused on the heart and soul of the eater.
Mm-hmm. Where did your nutrition background come from?
I studied from the Edison Institute of Nutrition many years ago. I actually have a Bachelor of Social Work, and I always had a very special interest in eating disorders. And then I practiced as a social worker for a year, but it wasn't really calling me. It wasn't feeding my soul. And what happened is that I actually traveled. I went to Africa and sort of did some soul searching. And I realized that, if I have such a love and passion for eating well and exercising and having a healthy lifestyle, why not inspire others to do the same? And so I found the Edison Institute of Nutrition, and I did that as a second degree. And that's really where my background of nutrition came from.
And that's based in Canada, and you're in Canada, yes?
Actually, it was based in the U.S., so I did correspondence with that program to the U.S., but I am in Canada, yeah.
So how in the world did you get plugged into our training? What inspired you in that moment to kind of push the button and say, okay, I'm doing this?
Well, I have to tell you, Mark, actually, probably back in about 2003 or 4, when I first began practicing as a nutritionist, I read one of your articles, and I think it was Nourishment for the Soul, it was called. It was all about the phallic phase digestive response. You were talking about how to get your body in that optimum state to digest and absorb meals and really eat from a soulful place. And that article, I don't even remember what journal it was in, but I had read it. And ever since then, I actually really sort of followed your work. I read some of your books. And then somehow I think I believe maybe through a word of mouth, actually, I heard about your training, your actual certification. And I got onto your website, and that's how I came to find the work that you did. Mm-hmm.
Yay. So these days, what's your work looking like?
My work is very fulfilling. Still in private practice, about 14 years now, but what I always say is that I nourish body, mind, and soul. So I'm really all about helping women transform their relationship with food, with body, and themselves. And so physically, when I nourish body, I'm still doing a lot of the customized nutritional programs, really taking a look at how we can awaken to the power of food to optimize health, alleviate symptoms, and improve our overall state of well-being. But then I also move into nourishing the mind, and that's where I really help people, as I said earlier, resolve the unresolved conflicts and stresses that are often at the root of eating challenges, weight issues, and even the manifestation of illness. And soulfully, what that means to me when I say I nourish the soul is I really actually help women find their mission and purpose, because often lack of that seems to be what I'm finding in my years and years of practice and experience, is that lack of purpose, lack of daily fulfillment is often the number one reason behind why people struggle with food, with their weight, with fatigue, In fact, it was actually even in your training, that was what my paper was on. It was how lack of mission and purpose contributes to unwanted eating behaviors, weight issues, and fatigue.
It was a great paper. I actually remember it, and that's when I first thought, wow, this lady's smart. But isn't it amazing, who would have thought when you first started out in nutrition, when I first started out in nutrition, you think nutrition is just about nutrition, and people's eating challenges or their health challenges are just about nutrition. And here we are, we're talking about meaning and purpose and who we are in this world. And sometimes that is, oftentimes, maybe a majority of times, it's such the doorway, the key to kind of really getting in there and making transformation happen. It's usually so unexpected, not only for the professional who doesn't start out that way, but then the clients who come to see us. Once you have that understanding and once you have that knowledge, let me pose this as a question. Do you find that it's like, how do you find that segue with clients? Do you find it to be easy? Do you enjoy it? Is it fun? Is it unexpected for them? Like, what happens for you?
Yeah, I think it's very authentic. It's very natural, the way in which the conversation unfolds. I almost feel like it's the conversation that's been waiting to be had, by my clients that come to see me. It's like they've done the physical nutrition piece, it's like they've been there, they've done that, they've sort of been on that diet bandwagon or all on the different nutritional programs that are out there, and they're ready for something different. And I think that's why the conversation just flows in that direction, because I'm offering different questions. I'm asking different questions that are helping them to see their weight or their eating challenges in a completely different light. So I think it's just that, I always say that there's no mistake in who comes to see me, right? There's a perfection in who we're meant to work with. And so I feel like now the clients that I'm seeking, or the clients that are seeking me, are ready to have this conversation, are ready to really work on that mental emotional field, which maybe they had not done before, right? And it's very interesting because you say, how is my practice different now after the training than it was before? I probably spend 70% of the time nourishing mind and soul, 30% body, whereas before it was likely 70% body, 30% mind and soul. And I feel, like you said, that when we work on that mind and soul level first, almost, it sometimes needs to happen first before the physical transformation even can take place, right? And so I think that's really a special piece of this work, right? Because it allows us to enter in a different way to get really powerful results and long-lasting results.
Yeah, I think it's a special piece of this work, and oftentimes it's the missing piece for so many people who are nutrition refugees, and they keep changing their diet and trying a new diet and trying a new nutritional system, and they never quite get where they want to go. They're just a person who constantly changes their nutrition. And either their health just stays the same, or their internal universe is staying the same, and they're still in unhappiness around their relationship with food until we dive deeper with them. I just want to say, Sarah Wood, thanks for saying hi, and Ellen from New York City, my hometown. Thank you for saying hi as well. And Facebook friends, please feel free to say hi in the comments section below. Let us know where you're from. That's appreciated. So something you learned in the training, pick something out that really made a difference for you, either personally, professionally, something that just jumps off the page right now.
Okay, the one that jumps off, one of my favorites, was the 11 phases of nourishment.
Oh,
right?
no.
We go through different phases of nourishment. We go through different phases of our lives, so obviously our nutrition is going to change throughout our lives as well, right? And that one stands out for me immensely. If you want to speak more to that, and then I can bounce off of you.
Yeah, well, it's, we cover, there's so many different, we'll call them life phases that we go through in our relationship with food. Sometimes we're in, for example, a learning phase, and we just want to devour information, and that's great. I've been through that phase, and I just want to read every book. I want to talk to every person. And, sometimes we're in sort of a death phase around nutrition where we just don't know what to do. We want to let everything go, and I just don't want to hear anything more. So yeah, I've identified 11 phases. Who knows? There might be a heck of a lot more.
But it's about embracing the phase that we're in and just giving the body permission to flow with the change of our diet, the change of our life, right? I mean, I was just on holidays for 2 weeks, so I was in the whatever phase, the anything goes phase, right? Mm-hmm. And now that I'm home, I'm like, I'm back into the cleansing phase, right? And so it's just about being conscious of where you're at and not judging it, not putting pressure on yourself, not expecting it to be something different or it should be something different, but just recognizing it as it is. And as you taught, that we always have a beginning and end to our phase, right? So those phases will end and they will shift and transform into something else when we're ready for that to happen, right? So that was a big one that stood out for me.
I love it. Just want to say, B from Northern Ireland, thanks for coming by and saying hi. And Amanda, if you're looking to meet with someone in your home state specifically, you can go to our website at psychologyofeating.com, and we have a list of practitioners, and they're listed by geographical location, so you can check that out. So, Amy, how is it for you being a mama and being a professional at the same time? What's that like for you?
My kids are at a great age right now. They're 4 and 7. And first of all, as my mission and my purpose is to be an amazing sought-after nutritional therapist, but also to be an inspired mother. And part of being an inspired mother is to live an inspired life and do what I love to do every day. Because when I see my clients, when I teach and guide and inspire my clients, it fulfills me. It literally gives me more energy, more presence, and that makes me a better mother. And so that was something in these last 7 years of having kids. It was always a challenge because I knew I always wanted to work, but I also knew I wanted to be home to raise my kids. So there was often a struggle between letting the work take a back seat and motherhood take a front seat for a while. But now that my kids are a little bit older, even in this last 6 months, Mark, I've seen such a significant difference in my shift, where my kids are more independent now and my work is now starting to take more of a front seat again. And I'm ready. Like I've been ready to just fly and focus and be laser focused on my practice again to build it back up. And so, there was, like I say, there was that challenge of trying to do both at the same time. But now as things are getting easier with the kids, my work is beginning to flow. And again, that's really, it's so important to me. In fact, one of my other great teachers other than you is Dr. DeMartini, and one of my favorite quotes from him, he says, the greatest gift we can give our children is to live an inspired life. And so that's what's so important for me, to do what I love to do. And that's what I teach my clients as well. And interesting, I see a lot of mothers who feel unfulfilled just being at home. There's a lot of mothers that love that, and that's their purpose, and they're meant to do that. But I often see a lot of mothers who struggle being at home and not having anything else other than raising their kids, and that creates a lot of stress around food. It creates a lot of emotional eating, creates a lot of food cravings, and so that's something that I often help my clients work through as well, just because I'm coming from that place of experience. I get it,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how it's going.
I'm really glad that you just framed it all like that, because for people who are in the field as some kind of helping professional where it's your own private practice, or if you're thinking of becoming some kind of health coach or an eating psychology coach where it's your own private practice, the practice kind of flows and it breathes and it morphs and it changes. Depending on, I got 1 kid, I got 2 kids, I have no kids, and something changes, you move, you shift, you're ready for less clients, more clients. And on the one hand, people can see that as a challenge, but on another hand, it gives you a certain flexibility, because there's times as a parent, we have to focus a little bit more, or we want to focus more on our kids. And less on our work. And then all of a sudden, oh my goodness, I have more freedom now. I don't have this little creature hanging on to me all the time. Wow, I could expand my practice again. So I think that's one of the beauties of this kind of work that we do, is that we can really morph it into our lifestyle. I mean, I've always been able to do that. I just want to say, Amanda, thank you for mentioning that you're going to be seeing Laura Burkett, I believe in Michigan. She's one of my first graduates, and she's great. She's awesome. So good for you. So Amy, where do you see your work going in the future?
You know, I keep seeing it manifesting into more of what I'm doing. I mean, I love to have more clients. I'd love to have a greater audience too. I love to speak. I love to lecture. And so I see myself actually having, changing the conversation of the lectures. You know, again, so many people will hire me to talk about just foundational nutrition, eat this, don't eat that, how to create a proper nutritional lifestyle. But I feel myself shifting in that conversation and really opening up, just opening up a conversation in a different way, where we do talk about how can we really transform our relationship with food and body, and really delving into more of our eating psychology conversations. So I see myself just continuing to do more of that, but absolutely my focus right now is to really increase my client load, as my kids will be starting school full time in September. So that's where I see it going, but definitely I think how I've created this nourishing body, mind, and soul piece is really where I'm loving to play, and I'm going to continue to do that.
Okay, something surprising I've learned on the job, surprising and positive, that I've learned on the job working with clients or working with a particular client.
Something surprising.
Surprising and positive.
Yeah, I think that the challenge. I think the collective challenge that people experience around food. You know, one of the questions that I often ask my clients is, what would your ideal relationship with food be like? And almost every single person says, I just want it to be easy. I just want it to flow. I don't want to fight it. I don't want to struggle anymore. And probably, Mark, 8 times out of 10, that's the same answer for everybody that I see. And so the greatest surprise is just to realize how many people are really in that struggle. Like, they're just conflicted with food, with their body, with their weight, and to help people make peace with that it's really a privilege, and it's an honor to help people on that journey, right? But that's probably been the biggest surprise, just how many people have the same collective struggle. It
is amazing, isn't it? And it's you know, so often people think, oh, it's just me. I'm the only one who has this issue, because when it's burdening us, and when we have a challenging relationship with food or body, it's so easy to isolate. It's so easy to just go in on myself, and all we have to do is look around and notice, my goodness, so many people from just about every country imaginable are experiencing the same kinds of challenges. And in a weird way, it's bigger than any one of us. And that's why we do this. You know, that's why we get together, why we have these conversations, why we build momentum, because it's how we help each other. You know, it's how we move forward, and it's how we evolve, and it's how we change things. I like to think of it as our collective immune response to a lot of the nonsense that's been drilled into us, you know, probably for decades and decades.
All the rules, right?
Yeah.
I think that actually, you know, to go back to, you know, one of the earlier questions you asked me, but that's also one of the biggest things that I've learned personally from this journey, from studying and training with you and doing the work, was just letting go of all the rules. You know, as a nutritionist especially, we accumulate so much knowledge, and we accumulate so many different do's and don'ts. And it kind of conflicts with ourselves, right? Like, we become conflicted with our own relationship with food because we get so much chatter. And so I've really, over the years working with you, I've let that go immensely. Let those diet rules go, and really awaken and tap into body wisdom and intuition, and let my body and intuition guide me to what I want to eat in a given day, in a given season, in a given time of year, in the given phases of my life, right? And some of the same thing, and that's what I really encourage my clients to do as well, because so many people come in with the do's and the don'ts, the rights and the wrongs, all the rules that are out there that just mess with our heads, right?
Yeah, it's so true. And just for people tuning in, if you're new to this kind of work, what Amy's saying is not that rules are bad and we have to just throw out the rules. It's just sometimes we're so burdened by information that doesn't work. So letting go of rules doesn't mean letting go of responsibility, because you said, hey, it's like letting go of rules so I can tune into my body, so I can listen. And that's its own kind of guideline. And that's its own kind of, source of knowledge and wisdom. And most people are stuck with information in their head rather than, oh, what am I hungry for? What's my body calling for? I think in this world, we tend to lose that muscle a little bit. And when that muscle is strong, life gets a lot better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I actually just recalling 2 journaling questions that you gave us in the training right at the very beginning. But number 1 was just writing your food story. But also there was another one about, what do you already know? I think it was something about, what do you already know about what's good for you in a way, or what works for you, right? And so when I journaled those questions and wrote that out, I was like, yeah, I know what works for my body. I know what feels good. So if we can let go of, of course, as you were saying, there's nothing wrong with the rules, and every different diet or program out there has merit and value, right? But if we sort of took away that noise for a little bit and just listened to what we already know is what's right for us and what works for us, we sort of come up with our own nutritional plan. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Helen from England says, so many rules. I want to trust my own inner intuition. Scary, though. And, I want to acknowledge, Helen, thanks for saying that. It is scary. If we haven't learned to trust our intuition and we're just following rules, it does bring up fear for so many of us to say, wait a second, what if I just clean out the closet and let go for a moment? And it doesn't mean let go of responsibility and just go out there and eat a bunch of junk for the rest of your life. It means really relaxing and tuning in. And it's okay to be afraid. There's lots of things we do in life that there's fear there, but we do it anyway. I don't know how we would ever grow if we didn't have to experience, the fear of going to school, the fear of leaving your parents' house, the fear of getting in the car for the first time and trying to drive it, whatever it is. That's why we coach. That's why we're practitioners. That's why we do this. We help each other. Amy, if you had the eyes and ears of the world and you wanted to deliver a message that you knew everyone would just get and grab, what might one of those messages be?
Okay, so it would be ultimately to eat the foods that are going to create the greatest level of energy and vitality so you can go and do whatever it is that you would love to do in this life. Eat to feed what you're meant to do here on this planet. Eat for the energy, for the vitality, for the essence, for the vibration that's going to make you ultimately the best you. Mm-hmm. That would be my message to the world.
I love it. What a great message. And, Sherry says, yes, it's overwhelming trying to figure it all out and what works for one's own self. And that's what we're saying. It's a journey. It's not necessarily, I found the right answer and now I can rest for the rest of my life with this one menu of what I'm going to eat. Because we change, we grow, we live in different environments. So I think it's learning how to enjoy that journey. And it can be overwhelming, but at the same time, it could be exciting. It could be interesting. And we make mistakes. Yeah.
I think it's about also that feedback that we always get from our body, right? It's like no matter what we try, good or bad food, whatever you want, however you want to call it, your body's always going to give you feedback, right? So it's the practice of listening to the the symptoms, when you eat something, did that make you feel good? Did it make you feel energetic? Did it keep you satisfied and satiated? Or did it create bloating? Did it create fatigue? Did it give you a headache? So I think it's always just, reconnecting and getting back into our body, which is another beautiful teaching that you always talked about in the training, was embodiment, right? And we're so disconnected to our bodies. We're on our phones, we're moving fast, we're doing so many different things, but even the act of eating is the practice of getting back in our bodies. And so when we're on this overwhelming journey, maybe just trying to trust our intuition and just go with the flow of what our body's meant to have, I think that when we stop and we slow down and we listen and we really nourish ourselves, our body's always going to guide us as to what worked and what didn't. And that allows us to just continue on the journey, right? Finding our perfect fuel mix for each and every one of us.
Oh, so true. Wise words. And I would love to tie the bow on this conversation right there, because that was so well put. And I really want to thank you for the work that you're doing, and the love and the energy that you're putting out there, and the good information and the good wisdom. Just congratulations on making it all work for you and bringing it together.
Thanks, Mark, and thanks for being one of my greatest teachers. You always are. I love tapping into your work all the time, every day, even if it's just your little quick Facebook posts. You're always inspiring, and so I'm truly, truly grateful for your work, for your heart, and your nourishment that you give to all of us.
Lucky me. Thank you so much for those kind words, Amy. And for anybody tuning in, if for any reason you might be interested in the training we've been talking about, the Mind, Body, Nutrition, Eating Psychology Coach Certification Training, please feel free to reach out, waiting for our next enrollment. That starts in the fall. And email us. We'll hook you up with an enrollment advisor on the phone. We'll answer your questions by email. We'll be nice and easy and soft, and we just like to inform you about the training so you can make the best decision for you. Amy, how do we get in touch with you if people want to find you?
Amy at amybondar.com is my email, or amybondar.com is my website.
amybondra.com.
DAR.com. BONDAR.com.
Bingo. Okay. Thank you so much, Amy.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Y'all take care.